What's up everyone, I'm Twisted and today we got a new teaser for the next season of Arcane. I've watched it maybe 2 or 3 times already, but I still haven't fully digested it. Yet I want to make a video about it because I'm just really hyped, really excited for it. But yeah, don't expect this to be a super organized video. This is just going to be me like going through the teaser and yapping about theories and stuff like that. So first things first, this is the 4th teaser we are getting for the next season. The first one was this one that just simply had the number 2 on it and some quotes by Vi and Jinx. And as you can see, like, everything is mirrored here because I'm a bit afraid that Netflix might strike my video. So just keep that in mind. Everything that you will see is going to be flipped. Then the second teaser was the one that I already mentioned in one of my videos. This one obviously shows Singed and the creation of Warwick. And like most people, yes, I believe this is Vander. I believe that Vander is going to turn into the Warwick that we know today. And just like in the current but not actually current, actually retcon lore, Singed is going to be involved. And the third teaser that we got was this short one on Twitter, featuring this team of enforcers with Cait and Vi and 3 new characters. And I'm just going to say it right now. I think all of these 3 characters right here are going to die. I don't think we're going to see them that much in the show. I definitely think that this is bait. Remember, in the first trailer or teaser, whatever it was, for the first season, there were a lot of like scenes put together that were meant to like bait us into thinking certain things or like deceiving the viewer. So I think this is one of those where like I don't think this team or these characters are going to be as important as we are being shown. And finally, we have this new teaser, and this is going to be the one that I'm going to be talking about. So we start with this scene, and again, keep in mind that the first trailer for the first season was really misleading. So take everything that I'm saying here with a huge grain of salt, right? But I believe that this scene is going to be the aftermath of Jinx's rocket hitting the council. We can see here like there's still some sparkles from X-Tech magic, and following up this scene, we have what is definitely the aftermath of the council being destroyed. Alright, so while editing I actually noticed a couple more details. The first one is that this chair is likely the one where Caitlyn's mother was sitting, and remember the footage that I'm showing is flipped. And I just want to remind everyone how the season ended. So season 1 ends with the council almost agreeing with making a deal with Zon, right? Peace in exchange for Zon's independency. Like Mel was at the brink of like renouncing her family, renouncing the legacy, her mother's ideals, right? And Jace and Viktor were together in this, finally being able to convince the council to agree on a non-violent solution, right? This was a very important moment in the show and is immediately followed by Jinx's rocket hitting the council. So for us, the audience, this is soul-crushing, right? We see 3 of our favorite characters almost succeeding in doing what we want them to, right? This is the good path, is the path where they succeed at what they are doing. Yet here comes Jinx's rocket, crashing everything down, and as we'll see, I think everything in Season 2 is going to be an aftermath of that rocket hitting the council.
Your council is dead.
Here we hear Ambessa saying your council is dead, likely talking to either Caitlyn or someone important in Piltover. As you'll see, I don't believe that everyone in the council died. I think that would be stupid, especially because Cait and Viktor are there. Here, I'm not quite sure when this takes place. I believe this has to take place after the rocket hit the council, obviously. But I'm not quite sure where in the story this fits. I think this is going to be probably before Vi agrees to join the Wardens, but I'm not sure.
Wrath must be met with wrath.
And here we see Ambessa, and we know this is Ambessa from the face here. The scars are obviously hers. And if you hear what she's saying, she's basically using the rocket hitting the council as a justification for going to war with Zaun. Remember, this was what Ambessa kind of wanted in Season 1, right? She wanted Piltover to develop weapons. She wanted to use these weapons for Noxus, for the benefit of Noxus, obviously, but this rocket eating the council was exactly what she needed to justify those weapons being made. And obviously there's also a personal vendetta as well, because I do believe that Mel did not survive. Also, this will likely be the design that they use when she comes to League of Legends later this year. I'm not sure what this ship is, who it belongs to. We can see here some green lights, so maybe this was like stolen or repurposed by someone in Zaun. And here we see Vi running towards something, and that something is scaring people or making people run away. The lightning makes it seem that this takes place in the same scene or during the same time as this other like scene right here, but I'm not quite sure. And here we see Noxians aligning forces with Piltover. Again, Ambessa really wants to go to war. This makes sense. And we also know that Season 2 is the last season of the Piltover and Zaun storyline. This is nothing new. The creators of the show have said this like long ago, but they have said it once again with the release of this teaser, and I do believe that a lot of the Noxian storyline that we are seeing in Arcane is going to bridge the gap between the Piltover and Zaun storyline and a new storyline revolved around Noxus for Season 3 of Arcane or Season 1 of whatever new show they decide to call it.
You will have justice.
And here we see one of the enforcers from the previous teaser. Caitlyn's new rifle, and we can see that it is now powered by Hextech. Another cool detail is that now the rifle has this part right here that we know is from where Caitlyn shoots her nets in-game, at least. So I do believe that we'll be seeing her like net ability in Arcane as well, which is cool. And here we see this shot of Vi's gauntlet, which we've also seen in the teaser. In the previous teaser. As well as these shots right here. And you can tell, and everybody has said this already, that Vi looks uncomfortable, and a lot of people are like saying that it's because she's wearing a cop outfit, right? I think that is sort of true, but it's also more so why she's wearing the outfit, right? She's nervous because she's doing this to stop Jinx, right? That's the core of Arcane, or at least one of the most important parts of Arcane is a story between Vi and Jinx. And if Vi is looking like this, it's because of Jinx. It's because she's joining the enforcers to stop her sister. Very interesting. I believe that this shot is reminiscent of one of the Firefly shots in Season 1. Maybe I'm mistaken, but like almost just looking at this, if you don't really focus in on the characters, this almost looks like the fireflies just flying down toward this building. But then you realize, oh no, these are not the fireflies, these are just the shimmer evil dudes. And I wonder what this building is. I'm not sure if this is like something that we've seen before. At least I'm not recognizing it. And here Caitlyn is still wearing her outfit from the first season, meaning this might take place in the first episode or so of the new season, maybe around the same time as that shot that we saw with Vi amongst the crowd. I also don't recognize this place right here.
I will lead a strike team into Zorn with 3 objectives. Locate Jinx.
This is a very, ugly depiction of Jinx.
Locate Jinx.
Right here we can see Vi approaching Jinx's lair, or at least already there. You can see here the drawings on the wall. We are going to see this location again later into the teaser. Right here we can see Ambessa's guard soldier from season 1. And this seems to be one of the fireflies. I think we can see some wardens here, so I wonder what the context of this scene is. Interesting.
Dismantle Shimmer.
Right here we see the wardens getting too singed. I have a feeling that he's not going to let them take him so easily. Or maybe they will. Maybe that's going to be a plot point and Singed is going to give them some sort of information that's going to be helpful. I'm curious to see what they'll do with Singed. This moment right here might also be the moment where Warwick is quote-unquote freed. And here we have Sevika, and she's wielding what I believe is one of Jinx's guns, I think, the one that she customized in season 1. Oh wow, and here we have a big evil dude, and we can see here, I think this is the fish dude. Oh yeah, these are the enforcers from the teaser. We see here Caitlyn, the lady, the fish dude, and the shield guy, right? Yeah, this is exactly the same scene. We can see them around Caitlyn. Here, if you notice, Caitlyn is also still wearing her outfit from season 1. And the dude with the shield right there is not wearing an enforcer outfit. Meaning that this takes place before that shot of them becoming some kind of squad, and that maybe the shield guy is a Zonite that helped the enforcers during this mission against the Shimmer dudes, and that's how he joined the enforcers. Oh, and here we have, I don't remember his name, but he is in season 1 as well. He was one of Silco's underlings, but also a Cam Baron.
Neutralize any agent still loyal to Silco.
Interesting. They say any agent still loyal to Silco, and they show this guy. But I don't know if this guy is still loyal to Silco.
And neutralize any agent still loyal to...
Huh. What is this supposed to be? Is this Jinx? Huh. Interesting. This could be Jinx.
To Silco.
This is Ambessa's arm. Oh, and here we see... And here we see him again. And I wonder who's there. Who are these people? Oh, this is Jinx. Oh. Interesting. This is Jinx alongside a child, I think. And it seems like this guy is on her side. Which is peculiar because he's fighting Sevika, as we're going to see in a second. See here? Sevika is fighting him, I think. We can see the arms with the spikes right here, right at the end. And interestingly enough, Sevika, besides the gun that looks like Jinx's gun, is wearing basically a Jinx-made arm, right? Which was leading me to believe that Sevika was still on Jinx's side, sort of. We know that they didn't have the best relationship, but with Silco gone, I don't think Sevika would work for Jinx, but I also don't think that Jinx would be opposed to working with Sevika. But at the same time, would she? I don't know. I'm really curious to see what the context behind this is, because I also don't think it's out of the realm of possibility of someone else having done this despite this looking like Jinxes. And here, blink and you miss it, we have Viktor. We can see here he's Cait, and it seems that he survived the council, obviously. I'm pretty sure Jace survived as well. But it seems that he's in that area in zone full of Shimmer addicts, and he's doing something. I believe that maybe the explosion or like the aftermath of Jinx's rocket is going to lead him to like further augment himself and transform his body. And I think what we are seeing here is the start of his cult that we know from the lore. Here, I forgot to mention that Viktor did not create this cult. It was created by people who were either helped by him or heard the stories. He only joined them later. So even if this is the start of that cult, that doesn't mean that Viktor himself is trying to be a cult figure. And then we have Echo. And one of the most interesting frames in my opinion. As we see here, this is a mural of Jinx with a lot of other people in the background that share the same hair color. And I think that a lot of folks in Zon are going to see Jinx as a revolutionary figure, as someone who's opposing the Piltover oppression and actively fighting against them, which is obviously not true. We know that Jinx's motivations are much more personal, much more selfish than that. She's not fighting for Zon, she's not fighting for Zon's people, she's just doing everything for her own like personal reasons, but everyone else probably doesn't know that. All they know is that there's this girl who's just shot a huge rocket at Piltover's council, right? At Piltover's leaders. And I think a lot of people are going to see her as a symbol for change, or as I said, and as an opposing force to Piltover's oppression. This is something that sort of happens in Convergence, though in that game it's more so played for laughs, because they don't really have like clear motives for what they are doing. They just think that Jinx is cool. But here I do believe that this is much more serious. Whoever is going to be part of this group is going to genuinely believe that Jinx is caring about the people of Zon. And I think Sevika might be the one taking advantage of this, in the sense that Sevika knows that Jinx did it for personal reasons, but she also knows that not everyone else knows. And what I think she will do is that she will convince other people to join her in with this idea of Jinx being this revolutionary like person, knowing full well that she isn't, and that's why Sevika is going to like have her arm and gun and whatever model after Jinx or after Jinx's creations. I really do believe that it's going to be a new faction that is going to emerge out of Silco's death and out of Piltover's now wanting to go to war with Zon. And I do think that this faction is going to have a lot of parallels or contrasts with the Fireflies, right? Because while this is going to be a group in Zon which is going to be actively engaging into conflict with the Piltovans, the Fireflies are a group that, yes, they might engage in conflict, they are much more about actually like trying to help people in Zon and build a community and stuff like that. While this group right here, which is going to use Jinx as a symbol, is going to be much more aggressive. And funny enough, this could also have some parallels to Viktor's cult, as they also might see Viktor as more than what he is. Another parallel or contrast is that this faction that focus on Jinx could be made out of people that followed Silco, while the faction that focus on Viktor could be made out of people that were victims of Shimmer, victims of Silco. And here we see an explosion, a purple explosion, followed right after by this figure, which I believe is Viktor, because if we go back, we can see that Viktor is indeed wearing some kind of robe. So I think that make sense for this figure right here to be Viktor, but this could very well just be Jinx or Echo or something like that, but I do believe it's Viktor. And this explosion right here is interesting. I assume this is going to be part of that conflict between Caitlyn's enforcers and those like shimmer dudes that we saw. That's a possibility. This place right here also kinda looks like a prison.
My sister is gone. Is gone.
Here, I believe that she's talking to Caitlyn. I think either Caitlyn or Echo. Actually, this might be Echo because this seems to take place in Zone. And here we see Heimerdinger. I wonder what he's seeing. And our favorite doggo, Warwick. Like, there's no doubt that this is him. We can see the gauntlet, and we can see the eyes, the face. Interesting. I wonder how and when he's going to show up and how integral to the story he's going to be. Because we've had all these teasers ever since Warwick was reworked of him having some kind of relationship with Jinx and Vi. At the time we didn't know, but now we can tell that those were obvious teasers for Arcane. I have a video with all the quotes if you want to check it out. But yeah, like, this being basically a father figure to Vi, and the one that basically taught her to not go the path of war, right? It's going to be interesting seeing Vi now taking on to that path, but on the other side, so she can help her sister. Like, how is Warwick going to influence that?
This has to end.
Yeah, I think this is Vi convincing someone, or maybe talking to Jinx.
Has to end.
And here we can see the new rifle, the X-Tech rifle that Caitlyn now wields. Interestingly enough, we have not yet seen Jace anywhere in this trailer. I wonder why.
Jinx!
And here we see again that location where Vi was running from Jinx's traps.
Finally got the name right.
And there's a couple of interesting things here. We can see Vander with Vi and Jinx. We can see Vi and Jinx here. There are a couple ones that I can't really tell what they are. We can see Jinx's monsters from season 1. Yeah, I can't quite tell what these are. Surely there's someone on Twitter that's already like dissecting all of this. But I think what these murals are going to be is Jinx's and Vi's story, right? Starting when they had parents, maybe here, then Vander, then the explosion somewhere here, then Jinx's nightmares starting, and then maybe Warwick right here? Not sure. But I believe that's what we're going to see in the show. Is that a statue or mural of Janna in the background? Because if so, that's a really cool Easter egg.
Sister.
Oh, we can actually see them better, huh? I don't think there's anything major. I think these are Clagger and Milo here. What is this? Huh? This looks like a person? Like upside down, right? But who? Is this? Oh, this is Silco, right? I think this is Silco. Is this when he was tied to the chair? Maybe. And yeah, obviously this is going to be like probably one of the most important scenes, maybe? Because we are finally going to see the sisters fighting each other, right? Vi seems to have fully, or at least partially, gave up on the idea of powder. Like, she's calling Jinx Jinx now, right? Jinx! Maybe she doesn't fully believe it, but like, she probably thinks that her sister is just too far gone. Which makes sense, again, after the aftermath of Jinx blowing up the council.
Jinx!
Like that was the key moment that basically destroyed any hopes of a happy ending here.
The name right. Sister.
Like, yeah, interesting. So from the council, if I grab the image right here. So we know that Viktor survived. I'm pretty sure that Mel died. I wouldn't be surprised if Caitlyn's mother also died, especially given how angry we see Caitlyn in the teasers. I wouldn't be surprised if her mother died. I don't believe Jace died. I think that wouldn't make sense. But then again, why aren't we seeing Jace in the teasers, right? That's weird. And I think it's more than likely that he was the one who made Caitlyn her new rifle, right? I don't know, I'm really curious. And I wouldn't be surprised if everyone else died. Though it's peculiar that Mel died, as I'm theorizing, but not Viktor, who's like right next to her. It's possible that maybe Mel used some kind of magic. That was what people were theorizing back when season 1 ended, right? Saying that maybe she used some kind of power to like save the council. I think that might still be the case, but she might have not used it on herself. She might have saved like the 2 boys right here and maybe everyone else died. I'm curious to see what they'll do. Like for example here in the previous teaser, we see these gloves, not Vi's gloves, these brown gloves right here, someone tinkering with the gauntlets. Like, who else but Jace, right? Unless this is Echo? Like, Echo also wears gloves, I believe. I don't know if we can see here. I mean, not that I'm seeing everyone wears gloves, actually. So maybe this is Vi, actually? That could be it. Yeah, maybe that's just Vi. Interesting. Here we see that Jinx is on the side of this character, right? But that doesn't mean that they're on the same side in the show, right? Like, for example, maybe this character was going to, like, get Jinx, but then Sevika showed up, right? And Sevika is actually helping Jinx. Like, I'm really confident about this theory right here. The one with the mural of people seeing Jinx as a figure that opposes the Piltover oppression, and Sevika using that to rally these people, right? Essentially becoming the new Silco in a way. But yeah, I think the themes of family are going to be even stronger in this season, right? We have Vi finally having to confront her sister. We have Caitlyn, who's likely looking out for revenge for her mother's death. Again, just my theory. We have Vander, which was basically the sister's adopted father, now being turned into a monster. We have Singed, who in the first season also mentioned having a daughter. We have Ambessa, who's probably out for revenge as well, if Mel did indeed die. I've seen some people saying that this is the daughter of Marcus. I don't really believe that. But yeah, I'm really curious to see what will happen in the next season, right? Again, it's the last season of Arcane. All the characters, or at least most of them, to end up in a similar state that we've known in the lore, in the now retcon lore, right? Like, I'm curious to see if these are actually the final designs of Enforcer Vi and Enforcer Caitlyn. I don't think they are. I still think that the ones that we see now in League are the final ones. Maybe some kind of team that is going to be created after the show, or at the end of the storyline of the show. I think we're going to see Viktor finishing, or at least being close to finish his transformation into the full-on cyborg that we've known for years. I want to believe that maybe Echo is going to figure out the Z-Drive in this season, but with it being so powerful, maybe they are not going to use it in the show, because introducing time manipulation into this story might not be the best choice, but we'll see. I have no idea what they'll do with Heimerdinger. I have no idea if they will bring him closer to what he is right now in the lore. For those who don't know, he's very much a fan of X-Tech and building turrets and missiles and stuff like that. So I don't really know how they'll bridge the gap between what he is right now in the show and that character that we've known. And overall, I also don't really know how the cities will end up like they are right now, right? Because right now, in the lore, or in the retcon lore, they aren't quite in a civil war like this. And Noxus is also not as, I'd say, influential, or has such a grip on Piltover like they do here in Season 2. So I'm really curious to see how this is all going to end. And I'm also really curious to what they haven't shown us yet, like, because I think that most of these scenes are like first part, first chapter, first 3 episodes. Even this scene with Vi and Jinx, which seems so final. This seems like the culmination that we've all been, like, not wanting, but expecting, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this was, like, the end of the 3rd episode. But yeah, as for new characters, I know a lot of people are still expecting, like, new champions to show up. I don't think we're going to see any new champion. And I've said this before, I think that if you are going to introduce a character, a new champion, it has to be a character whose arc you can do in like half the time of all of the other champions, which is really hard. Characters like Orianna or Camille, I don't think would be done justice by just having half the time as the other champions. It's not impossible, I just don't think that that's what the team is going to do. Not to mention that the number overall of characters has not changed. Like, especially if they are introducing these characters who I believe are going to be as relevant as Milo and Clegger, maybe even less than that. The number of main characters is going to remain pretty much the same, so I don't think they are going to introduce new champions. The only champion, as I said, that I can see being introduced is Blitzcrank, because I don't believe that Blitzcrank needs a complex character arc. I believe that is more so a narrative tool to enhance Viktor's arc, because Viktor is all about helping people and leaving his mark on the world, right? His legacy. And with the aftermath of the rocket, he is obviously going to change in some way. Like, not just physically, but also like his ideals and morals. And if Blitzcrank is introduced in the show, he could be like Viktor's legacy. Like, who Viktor was before he went down the path of the glorious evolution, right? All about helping people and making sure like that people of Zon have better living conditions. Just one last thing that I forgot to mention. Right here, we see the goggles from Clegger. If you followed League before Arcane, when we first saw the first teaser for Arcane, when we saw Clegger, everyone immediately noticed like the goggles, and we all knew that eventually those were going to end up on Vi's head. But it finally happened. I think they are Clegger's goggles. If they aren't, I'm going to be really disappointed. But yeah, this is cool. I like this. But alright, I've talked too much already. If I missed anything, please let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.